Investing 101. Today, Kenyans want to invest more in land than they want to actually look at other asset classes such as equity and fixed income. But Mr. Robert Yawe, who's a financial literacy coach, has given us a very interesting way of looking at it. Robert, just before we went into the break, you said, look, when you're looking at equities and you're looking at land, what you're saying is if you want to hold it for capital appreciation, you buy today and wait for a little while before you sell. If you're looking for a dividend yield, then you've said the equivalent is getting land and putting apartments and earning a rental every so often. But before we went on a break, you're just bringing us to the point. Is it a good time then to be in equities or not? Because you're on a 10-year low with regards to the index. What are your considerations?
What's your risk appetite?
Okay.
I think that's one thing.
What do you mean by what's your risk appetite?
How much are you willing to lose?
Okay.
And how long are you willing to wait?
All right.
I think risk is both in terms of time and loss.
Okay.
Yes.
So if I put in 1 million, do I have a 10-year horizon, or conversely, if after 1 year I lose my 1 million, am I comfortable?
The good thing with yes, that's really it.
Okay.
And when you use the 1 million, then that means we are looking at you more as a professional investor.
Okay, fine. So my 10,000 shillings.
Your 10,000 shillings. With your 10,000 shillings, the question becomes, how much do you want it to grow?
Okay.
Yes.
And how do you determine that? What's the reference point that you would tell somebody to use, or a benchmark to be able to use to define the kind of return that you want to expect?
One, if you leave that money in a savings account.
Okay.
What will you get? 4%?
4%.
Okay. So can you do better than 4%?
Okay, I beg to differ, because today in Kenya, you're actually going to earn 0% because most people tend to take that money and consume it. So there's also the opportunity cost of that. So you say that you're at 4% or 0%, or you could gain something.
But it's not really 0%.
Okay.
It's about personal return.
Okay, personal return.
What did I feel? What did I do with the money?
Personal return.
You bought 4 pairs of shoes.
Yes.
Emotionally, it's priceless.
Only for 3 months, Robert.
It's not priceless.
It's not priceless.
It's priceless for a while.
After 3 months, I convert others, so it's not priceless. It's probably not the best way to go about it.
So we best need to invest.
Yes.
And then the question now becomes, how do you want to grow this? If you find growing it at a 4% or a 7%, then buy the share and leave it there. But also when you're doing equities, don't forget, you can't just buy and leave it.
Yes.
Okay. And that's what many of us do. We buy and we keep. That's what it says, like a plot.
Okay.
You need to keep reinvesting so as to protect your investment.
Okay.
Yes. And what people need to do is think of investing on the stock market like planting coffee.
Okay.
You'll plant coffee today. You'll not harvest a single berry.
Okay.
For the next 5 years.
Okay.
But in those 5 years, you must fertilize, you must prune, you must...
Wow.
Money will keep going in for 5 years.
Yes.
But after the 5th year, what happens?
Yes, you start to actually...
enjoy.
But then the harvest also starts at zero. Like
slow and grows.
Okay. Slow.
And you have to keep putting in. So the
Okay.
same way. The 25,000 you're thinking of, can you look at it and say, how much more can you put in every month into that particular asset class?
And if you go back to the coffee example, and I like that example, because what you're saying, if I'm growing coffee, my initial cost at the onset, I need to have the land, I need to go buy the seeds, I need to go buy the fertilizer. So at the beginning, I'll have to put in slightly more, and then every month I still have to keep putting to pay the farmers, to pay other people.
Yes.
So if we stick to this example for 25,000, what you're saying is, if I start with my 25,000, then can I put in another 5,000 every month, or 10,000 on a regular basis?
Exactly.
Wow.
And if we do that, then the stock market will do 2 things. Will allow us to better fund our businesses.
Okay.
And secondly, will create a saving culture. We have lost our saving culture.
That's true. Even at a national level, actually.
Yes. We have. And recently I was at a function by the SACCO movement. And they say it's called a savings and credit.
Yes.
It's not a credit and savings.
Okay.
That's what we have reversed.
All right. So now you actually just go and borrow as long as somebody can guarantee you.
Today everybody tells you, you can borrow today.
Yes.
But have you developed a saving culture? And without the savings culture, we can't grow this economy. And that's why the stock market is crashing. It's a reflection of what's happening everywhere. Businesses can't grow because they can't get cheap long-term financing.
Okay.
And if we then now got to understand that of every 50,000 shillings I make, can I make sure that 10% of it gets put away for the long term?
Okay.
That can then go and grow the economy, which means I'll end up making more money down the road.
All right, so the challenge for you as an individual is to decide, I am going to save, and then how do I want to allocate my savings? But then just bringing you back to looking at the NSE as a way of mobilizing savings. People have lost money. How do you actually manage that? Because I like that you're bringing the element of risk appetite, but the reality is there's also a risk affiliated with the NSE. But even before that, because we're talking about investing 101, what am I looking out for even before I put my money there, before I consider whether I'll lose it or not?
I'll start off with the one where you see people have lost money.
Okay.
Exactly how did anybody lose money on the stock market?
Yes.
Tell me, how did anybody lose money on the stock market?
You bought a share at maybe 10 shillings,
Yes.
Now it's 2 shillings.
Have you lost yet?
If you actually sell that stock at 2, you've lost.
If you haven't sold?
If you haven't sold, you're sitting on a paper loss.
If you bought more shares at the new price, what happens?
Your average price reduces from 10 to lower depending on how many stocks you buy.
So if you continue to do this, at some point, will you basically start making money?
It depends. What if the company is nationalized and has to exit the stock exchange?
And not that, and only then can we say that you'll have lost.
Okay.
But
So-
until then, you have not lost until you sell.
Okay.
So we have a tendency of our media making a lot of misleading statements.
Okay, myself included.
That the stock, that investors on the NSE have lost
Yes.
50% of their investments. No, they have not. And the question was, were they in for capital gains or were they in for dividend?
All right.
Because whether the share rises or drops,
You're making a gain one way or the other.
Yes.
So if it rises, you're making a capital appreciation. If it comes down, you're making a dividend return.
yes.
Okay, wow, that's a fantastic way of looking at it. Fine, so today I've decided I want to save, and I've gone through my dynamics of saving, and I'm interested in getting into the equities market. Or
Yes.
I've already in the equities market, maybe I'm the 10% of the 1.4 million that the NSE tells us about, and I've not been actively looking at my portfolio. How do I begin to be an active manager at a personal level? What are the key considerations?
One, it's be clear what your objective is.
Okay.
What's your objective? Do you want to get in and get out quickly, or do you want to get in and you're comfortable staying?
Okay.
If you want to get in and get out quickly, what you're looking for is a share that doesn't fluctuate too much and has high volume
Okay.
turnover. If the turnover is the volume turnover of shares is high,
Okay.
then you're fine.
Okay.
If you're looking at it for the long term, then look for a share of a company you understand.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
For me, I say my mother-in-law used to say she buys shares of things she understands.
Okay.
She'll buy Safaricom because she understands where they make their money. She'll buy breweries, she knows where they make their money.
All right.
She'll have a bit of an issue investing in Rentco.
Okay, because she doesn't understand that model.
Yes.
It's not a very
So she
clear
invests in
model.
watching. And today with the prices we have on shares, we've got sub 1 shilling.
Yes.
Minimum number of shares you need to buy is 100.
100 shillings, that's the value of
So
money.
if a share is at 34 cents,
Yes. You can buy a good...
that's 34 shillings.
Yes.
So try it. I
Okay.
think we need to also start trying it. And I'll tell you, take 1,000 shillings, buy 4 counters. And every month for the next 6 months,
Allocate the same 1,000.
the same 1,000.
Okay.
Then come the 6th month, look at what the value is of what you're holding on to. Yes.
Okay.
To me, I think that's the best way to start. It's too early for many of us to start trying to evaluate balance sheets and dividend returns and the rest.
Why
No.
not?
We still buy land based on some fellow on radio telling us it is a great investment. Tells you where we are in terms of investing.
Okay, but then there have to be basic considerations. I mean, if I come today and I'm looking at about 63 to 65 stocks,
Yes.
where do I start?
Like I said, start with what you can afford with your 1,000 shillings.
With your 1,000 shillings?
Yes.
So I go for the penny stocks, that's what you
Go
say.
for the penny stocks.
But there has to be an element of, because if I'm a professional and I'm looking at things like price to earnings ratio, I'm looking at dividend yield. I mean, I like the element of the dividend yield. If today we say, for instance, Barclays Bank has a dividend yield of 10%,
Yes.
that means that I can actually recoup my investment in about, is that 10 years? In 10 years. And if I'm looking at an investment in land, which I don't even know what the capital appreciation will be in the future, how am I comparing this to? Because there has to be an element of comparing the return on this asset and on land, if we use land as a reference point.
Again, you're looking at land more at speculative level.
Okay.
The question becomes, do you want to do anything on speculation? Because tomorrow you don't know what's going to happen.
Very true.
And what I'm saying is that let's look at the Kenyan way of doing things.
Okay.
We jump in feet fast.
Yes.
That's what we do.
Yes.
So let's jump in feet fast. not because of the lie we were given when we bought, I think it was Kengen and Safaricom.
Yes.
You remember Safaricom were told what? The share will go to 10 shillings.
But where is it today?
When we were buying it at 5 shillings. Let's look back.
Where is it today?
When we were buying it at 5 shillings, we were told it will get to 10 shillings.
Yes.
What did it do?
It went to 2 shillings.
What did we do?
Sold.
To who?
Foreigners.
Okay. So even if it gets to 50 shillings now, are we participating?
No. Because you're already caught up on the emotional element of I lost so much money, why did I sell? But I like that you're bringing a very interesting element, foreigners.
Yes.
So what's the role of foreigners on the NSE today?
The foreigners have understood Kenyans better than Kenyans understand themselves.
Okay.
Yes.
Why do you say that?
They've looked at us and said, what is it that we do most of? We talk a lot.
Okay.
We drink a lot. We smoke a lot. And then, what's the other share we have which is moving very drastically?
We take a lot of credit.
We borrow a lot.
We borrow a lot.
We borrow a lot,
Yes.
okay? Now, that is why those stocks are doing well. Look at all those.
That's
BAT,
true.
East African breweries, they're doing well.
That's true.
But what those investors also realize is that those companies will continue to make money more for dividend. The share prices don't move much.
Yes.
But they pay extremely well in terms of dividend.
Okay.
Yes.
So we need to start thinking like foreigners.
We need to start thinking like
and just be very
foreigners.
basic. What am I doing on Friday? Am I drinking like, okay, fine. So if I'm going to drink 5,000, can I allocate 2,500
Yes.
maybe to an EABL counter?
Yes. Why not make money where you're spending your money?
Exactly. I like that. I like that one.
Yes.
But at times, do you find that the ease of access to this market could be a deterrent to actually invest in? Because I'm imagining today, if I was in a bar for argument's sake, and I said, I'm a person and I'm having 2 beers and I would like to buy the equivalent in shares.
Yes.
I can't actually make that decision there and then because I have to wait for the next week on Monday to look for my broker and engage with them. Or I don't know. How do you look at it?
We have 2 or 3 brokers who allow you to do mobile-based
Okay.
investing.
So the opportunities are there.
It's there. It's
Okay.
not that the platforms exist to do it.
How do I manage my portfolio then?
As I think we have a platform called My Stocks.
Okay.
My Stocks is a data vendor that picks up the data and then crunches it so that they make it easy for you to understand.
Okay.
It is said the higher up you go the corporate ladder,
Yes.
the less figures you want to see, and you want to see more pictures.
That's very true. There's just too much going on.
So what we do is we give you graphs.
Oh, wow. Fantastic.
We give you graphs and we can give you historicals up to 10 years.
Okay.
We give you comparatives, so that you can compare between 2 or 3 counters.
Okay.
But more critically, we have a product called a portfolio manager.
All right.
The portfolio manager connects directly to the CDSC
All right.
and picks up all your shareholding, keeps track of what you paid for it,
Okay.
your buying price, any additional purchases you've
That
done
you
or
have.
sales, it'll
Okay.
continue to adjust.
That's fantastic.
And then it gives you a valuation of your portfolio on a per second level during
Fantastic.
trading.
Okay. This is another question that I always hear, Robert,
Yes.
and I'm sure you also hear it when you're out there. I don't remember what my CDS account is and I don't remember who my stockbroker is. Can your system help us understand
Yes.
that? Maybe what is the...
One, correction. Your stockbroker doesn't hold your shares.
Okay.
All you need to remember is your CDS account.
Okay. What if you don't remember? Because there are
Do you
people
know your
with
ID number?
Safaricom. Yes. Okay, I know my ID number.
CDSC knows you by your ID number.
So if somebody doesn't have their CDS, they can actually
Yes.
use their ID number on your portfolio manager to access their holdings?
Yes, actually that will allow them to do it. But
Okay.
faster will be, because what we do is our connection allows you to come, give us your basic details.
Okay.
We'll connect to the CDSC who will then give authority to give us access
Okay.
to your
All right.
your
Understood.
portfolio.
Understood. That's fantastic.
Yes. But better still, what we do is, apart from that, is we then provide you with an alert system.
Okay.
So we know you're busy. You don't have time to keep looking at the market.
All right.
So what we allow you to do is to create alerts. And what is your alert? You say, I want to go into Safaricom when it goes to 24 shillings.
Yes.
So you'd go into the system and say, when Safaricom gets to 24 shillings, please alert me.
Okay.
We'll then send you an alert when that condition happens.
And then now I can actually use that alert to go
To
to
do
my
your execution.
stockbroker
Yes.
and execute.
And we
Okay.
say execution is 5% of the entire process.
Wow.
So you can either do alerts on counters you hold
Okay.
or counters you don't hold.
Okay.
So that then allows you to become active and to remain connected to your portfolio without having to spend too much time on it.
Do you have an alert that says when I make 10 calls on my Safaricom line, then I should buy Safaricom?
We'll put that into...
You should.
We'll consider that.
Since you said we're talking a lot anyway.
And then we'll do the same for...
You do the same for
alcohol.
For all the other things.
Yes,
So, okay.
when you pick up your 8th beer.
Okay, fantastic.
Yes.
I like that. So we're coming from a point where we just need to actually evolve with regards to our investment choices.
Yes.
And then there's a platform that has data. What are the key things that I'm looking out for? If, for instance, I'm actually not necessarily new, because I think the majority of the shareholders or CDSC holders today came in during the times of Safaricom.
Yes.
And I think the prices didn't do too well, so they just went out of the market and have been quiet for a little while. If I'm interested in coming back, what are the 2 or 3 things that I need to look out for with regards to information that I can get on your platform?
Our platform will be able to give you historicals.
Okay.
You can actually look at how the shares have performed over the last 10 years.
And that's on price?
On price.
Okay, so I can look out for the price.
You can look at price, you can look at trade volume.
All right, and trade volume.
You can look at all the announcements. We
Okay.
basically have all the announcements as well.
Okay, can I get...
Whether there was a dividend, when there was a dividend.
All right.
Whether there was a split, whether there was a bonus issue, all those are shown to you on the platform.
So I can look out for that.
Yes.
Can I find things like price to earnings ratio and dividend yields on your platform?
We have a few of those on, I think we've gotten about 12 or 15 companies.
Okay.
We have financial records on some of them for the last 5 years.
Okay, fantastic.
Which then shows you basically line by line.
Wow.
What the change has been in investment, what the change has been in dividend, what the change has been in revenue, all that. We've actually, for somebody who wants to go into the heart of it,
yes,
we have the richest amount of information.
That's fantastic. And you need information to make any investment decision. But Robert, our time is up. Any final comments that you feel are pertinent to this conversation we're having on Investment 101?
For those of you who had money to put into betting, and now that they are closed, I suggest go and take whatever amount it was.
Yes.
Be it 1,000 shillings, 10,000 shillings, 20,000 shillings, and look for the 5 lowest priced shares and buy them.
Okay. Yes. I like that. So if you've just been betting and now you no longer have that avenue of betting, why don't take a bet on the Nairobi Securities Exchange? And I say the word bet, quote unquote, because it is not investment advice. Take a bet on the NSE. And as Robert has said, maybe look out for the 5 cheapest counters and see if they make sense for you. But I also like the element of you need to be able to be informed to make a very good decision for yourself, whether you're building your portfolio or you have somebody assisting you with. He's given us an outline and told us that My Stocks in Kenya has this kind of data available to you. So it's certainly something that you want to look out for. And I think in closing, our forefathers have been investing in land. What are we going to do? We must evolve and move to the next level. So there are different asset classes there. Use the same mindset that you would use on land, but look for different asset classes. And with the NSE 10-year, with the NSE 20-year index at a 10-year low, could be some good buying opportunities that you could tap into, if nothing else, for your future generations. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow at the same time. Good afternoon.